Good morning, and thank you for joining us on another amazing Saturday filled with information and inspiration to get you to your goals and destination. I'm gonna have to make sure I hold on to that one. That was good. I didn't
That
even
was really good.
pre-do that one. That wasn't even written or scripted or anything. Let's take that good stretch. It is 8 a.m. and we are getting ready to get busy on this mind and get some information in here so we can grow and learn and discover more about ourselves. We have Mrs. Tamia Dow back again with us, Miss Chaplain Tamia Dow. Amazing story, so much to go on. Definitely wanted her back from the last show, which did come out kind of choppy. I want you to truly hear and embrace her story because she has an amazing story and how she got to where she is in her journey. And then I'm just going to fill it in like I do with just adding that mindset that it takes to get there, just to give you that deeper understanding so we can all understand how people become successful, stay successful, and maintain their success. Hi, good morning, Tamia. How are you?
Good morning, my beautiful, beautiful, beautiful friend.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, I
Yes.
just I just feel blessed. I every morning that I get a chance to wake up, have a conversation with somebody, be alive. I'm just blessed, very blessed.
Yes. So I did see you on a couple of interviews within the last since you were last on this show. Bring us back. Let us know what's going on. Give us those juicy details. We want to know what's going on too.
Well, thank you for asking, and of course, bringing me back so we can talk about these great things. God is so good, and the thing I want to share with your audience and everybody that's listening is it is so important for us to do what God is telling us to do, and we might not see the results of what He's telling us to do, but when we're faithful and we do it. Notice I keep saying do, do, right? When we're faithful and we are in action and we are doing what he's telling us to do, that is when things come to us. We have to be in movement, right? Success honors movement. If you're
Right.
sitting still, nobody's coming knocking at your door to bring you success. You have to be in motion, in movement to be blessed. And so I have, as you know, I write books. I'm a nonfiction book writer. I like to talk about the Lord, God, His direction for your life, and just the things that He's brought me through. I do that through books and movies. So also, have really enjoyed learning to make movies now over the last 3 years. I've made over 11 different I've gone through different film projects. And since probably like a month ago, I've had 4 more film projects introduced to me to become a part of. And one way I think that has come about is that I'm just willing to do whatever it is that God says to do and not sit there and question Him as to, well, why am I doing that? And why? Why? We're all kids in heart, right? And he even calls us his children, right? So as children, we're always like, but why? But why?
Right. And I just want to go a little deeper, just to give that deeper explanation, like I always do. But what Mrs. Chaplin is talking about is you get downloads, right? So you have these thoughts and you have images that come from your spiritual side, your spiritual being, which are God sent messages. You get your messages. And when you get those messages, whatever that message is telling you, when he tells you to have faith in him, you have faith in self, you have courage in self to deliver the idea that you are thinking about that is being downloaded from spirit to you. So when you're getting those downloads and those thoughts and those blocks of thinking and those blocks of images that you see called symbols, you take those and you get the message so you know what you got to do, and he's going to help you follow right along the steps. Action Faith without works is dead, is where she's going with that, right? So if you do not act on the thoughts that you are having, which are your downloads, you will not receive the blessings from the downloads that you're getting. If you're constantly going and you are praying and you're putting that in the universe and wanting and desiring for something to come to your life, and then you get the downloads, and then you're like, okay, I want that, You need to go get it, baby. Go out there and get assertive and go find it and get it and create opportunities and allow those opportunities to come to you so the blessings can come to you, manifested to you in the real life form. So you're going to get the images and the thoughts. And no, you don't totally understand the outcome of the result of it. However, being obedient, like she was saying, to your messages that you are getting spiritually will allow you to act and move in the direction you need to move. And when you get to a place in that movement where you're confused and you don't really know which way to go, then you go and you ask the right questions. Everything comes with the correct question. If you're not asking the right question, you're not going to get the right information and you will still be where you are. And it gets frustrating in that moment and make you want to quit. Don't quit. Stop, sit back, really think about what the message was, what you can do, what's missing, and then ask the question for what's missing so you can get clarity with another message. So, she done got some downloads and some clarity on some movies and some life choices that she's done, from the military to what she's doing as a chaplain and the police force and writing and directing and acting in films that she's doing. Give us some more details, some juicy details, because I know you got some things that you had to go through mentally to even help people. Like, let's go back when you were in the military. You had to mentally go into the mindset of, I have to do the tasks that they gave me. And it's a mindset coming from a civilian going into the military. It's not the same mindset. And so even with that transition, the military has a mindset that they have to instill in you, so then you can do the task that they have for you to do and come out of the civilian mindset. I want to hear about that.
I truly believe that it's very important that we trust God. I've been a woman of faith even when I was in the military. As a woman of faith, I was raised Catholic and became a Christian when I was on the police department, which just gave me a clearer focus. When I was a Catholic, I had a core structure. So I knew right from wrong. I learned very well how to be a good citizen of the world, a citizen of this planet, through my childhood. And then, of course, when I went into the military, I personally, I enjoyed the military as an option. And what I really enjoyed about the military as an option is it really gave me a can-do attitude. I've been really blessed since I was a child. I was pretty direct, or pretty focused on where my future was and where I wanted to be when I grew up. Like when I was 9 years old, I was writing detective short stories about a character called Double a Hub, and she was a girl crime solver. Probably in the vein of Nancy Drew. I tried to remember what would have inspired me to write this Double a Hub series. But I was 9 years old writing these little stories about this girl, and she was a winner. And it's so interesting. I have to use my director term as I look back over my life, because I've always cast myself as the winner, and I've always cast myself as completing missions and things such as that. So even though there's been obstacles along the way, like moving from, as you mentioned, from civilian to from military to civilian, military is very structured, and you learn a lot in the military. You learn chain of command, you learn teamwork, you learn that you can do a lot of things. I was really blessed because I was a military officer. So I also was enhanced to learn how to train people, which is what my heart is now. I'm an educator. I went on to, I did training in the military, of other, as an officer of my troops, and also when I moved from military to civilian life, which was law enforcement, I also I'm the type of person who goes into a situation, even when it comes to my filmmaking. I learn, and how I learn is I research, I ask questions, I do my detective work, which is something that, I've been doing since I was 9 years old as the little character in my story, and I have no problem asking questions. And I'm also really in tuned to listening to God and his direction. quick side note, yesterday I was going to meet one of my really good friends. I call him my birthday twin because he and I birthdays on the same day, which was last month, but we were just getting together. And he texted me in the morning, and I had this weird thing on my phone that said he sent me the name of the restaurant we were supposed to go to, but what I got, it said Pancake Houses. So it came up with a whole list of choices, right? Which
Right.
none of them was what I was thinking about. And I'm texting him like 10 minutes before we're supposed to meet, right? So I said, let's just go around the corner, right, to this restaurant called Cracked Eggs, right? I don't mind giving them props. They're not giving me no money, but it just happened there in this story, right? So we go to this restaurant. He's like, oh, yeah, I love it. I always get this and I always get that. This is how us tourists are. We get set on our kind of food that we get. We'll go to the nicest restaurant and be ordering pancakes. You know what I'm saying? Whatever, whatever our little heart is set on, we're going to go for it. So anyways, we go there, but let me just kind of fast forward a little bit. So he and I are there. While we're there, I go, he and I have a great breakfast. We're running into people. We become like you see on TV, people are like, oh, hey, there's such and such. Hey, there's such and such. Okay, all of this, right? We had no intentions, remember, to go to this restaurant. So we go to the restaurant, and then as I go to leave with him and I, these people coming in, we're catching up with these people. I'm like, this is so God. Look at these people walking by us and people we hadn't caught up with, and da 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 da, right? Then as I go to leave, I run into another person, right? I didn't leave there. I got to the restaurant at 8:30. I didn't leave at the restaurant till noon and ran into 7 people, right? So that's what I call a divine appointment. That's what I call listening to God, because our intention was to go to a whole different place. And I tell this story because we all need to be mindful when God redirects us.
Yes.
Right?
And that's your intuition, right?
Right.
So I'm going to go and kind of, like I always do, like she was saying, you got to do the research, right? You have to go in there. You can't just decide you want a thing or a situation to happen in your life and you have no idea about the situation. You don't have the full story. You don't have any information on it. You don't even know how you fit in it. And then you don't want to get to the point to where you get in it and then you learn it doesn't fit for you, which many people do. And they do that because, going back to it, another point she had made, can do attitude, but definitely learning self. If you haven't done the mindfulness, the self-awareness, the personal development to understand you, who you are as a person, anything you do will be a direct reflection of your engineered habits or whatever socially engineered or whatever environment that you have that you've been around. Everything you do in your life is going to be a result of that environment. And that environment may not even be who you are. It's just happened to be where you grew up or where you were around. But it's not who you are. It doesn't define who you are. So 1, 2, have the courage to know that you can do anything. You are limitless. God didn't make you to come down here to be limited on certain things or be justified by certain titles or tags of being bipolar depression, or all those connotations are only good and it only exists in your life if you believe it to be so. So you have to believe you can do anything. You can beat anything. You can fight anything. You can have anything that you want, because you are a creator. You're a manifester, and you are down here because God gave you those tools to make this happen for yourself, to give you these gifts for you. But you have to be that active co-creator in the whole situation, because he can't do it by himself and you can't do it by yourself. It's a we thing. We together as spirit and humans will do what we need to do that is going to be fit for our life. So when you have those intuitive moments, it's because it fits for what you've been asking for, going back to asking the correct questions, having faith in yourself to move and do what you got to do, accepting the fact that you don't know the result, but you are completely comfortable with the fact that it's going to happen and you expect it to happen. You're looking for it to happen, because when you expect it, you believe it, and you thought it, that is how you manifest. Like, that is how this goes. And then you have to add that key element of insight. Get insight, information, the research into what you're doing and what you are trying to bring to the table, because you can't bring something to the table and you have no knowledge of it. You're only bringing this what you think it is, which is a mirage. It's not real. So that's why a lot of people get into situations in life and they don't even like the situation or like the person that they've gotten to this relationship with because they haven't done the research on self first. Your research should be on self first. Who are you? What do you like? What don't you like? Can you be accountable to yourself? And can you have the imagination? Like she said, she made herself the winner in the character. I mean, and some that's the imagination piece. That's that Peter what is his name that flies around
Peter Pan.
Peter Pan. That's the Peter Pan theory, right? It's the imaginary world that you want to make manifest in your life. You have to live in that world through your imagination and vision first, and then that world will become real to you because you will have the experience of what you're looking for. And that experience connects what you're actually going for. Because if you don't have the experience, you don't know how to feel. And the feeling is the secret. They say that in the book, and what they mean by the feeling is the secret. Once you feel connected to your vision and you believe wholeheartedly and have courage in yourself to make it happen, and you start taking the steps to make it happen through insight of what research you've done, you're able to start to manifest the things that come into your life. So she wrote herself as the hero in every story. Write yourself as the hero in your story. Put yourself as the winner in your story. Write your story in a journal by journaling. Write your story. Go into the mirror and do your imagination work in there. Do your mirror work. Go in there and imagine this person that you are and see that person through your reflection in the mirror and have the courage to be that person and do what you got to do to make it happen in your life to win. And that's what she did. That's the mindset. You want to be a winner because you are a winner. You want to have certain things because that's who you are. If you love nice things, you are royalty. You're of royalty. Go for it. Not everybody wants that. And you can't expect everybody to want what you want. And you can't expect everybody to see your vision for how you see your vision unless you're able to understand the message, feel it, have compassion for it, and then be able to explain your message to somebody clearly because you've done the research and you know what it is. And then you can help people understand the vision for your message. That's how you create the message. Because if you don't have those connectors and you don't truly believe in your message and you don't have the research for your message and you don't have the complete download, yeah, it's going to come out real choppy and people are going to see right through that and they're going to know that's not even authentic. That's not even, organic. You make it organic because you really believe it. You really feel it. You know it here. And then you can go ahead and give that message and that image out. So you taking what you've learned in the military and in the police force and the things that you've done, and you go out and you give back to so many people by helping them to discover who they are and find that winner in them so they could be a winner in your life. And I want to hear that part. How do you do that?
Again, that goes back to being in tune to what God is saying to you. So I consider myself a vessel of God. I consider myself, like I said, when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, Lord, what is it that you will have me do today? Not what Tamia wants to do, and that is why I kind of shared the example of the breakfast meeting, because if we had gone to where we originally were planning to do, if my phone didn't glitch, if, all this stuff didn't happen, I would have missed at least 7 people that God had orchestrated for me to connect with. And what is so interesting about that is when I had my interview with the RJ reporter, Glenn Hewitt, he actually met me at a police, pastors, and pancake breakfast and came over and interviewed myself and one of my fellow chaplains, Jackie. Her name's Jackie Likey. And after he interviewed me, he was like, wait, you're law enforcement, you were a veteran, and now you're a pastor, and you work with the police. He's like, and you're a filmmaker. He was like, I have to know your story. He said, he was like, the world has to know your story. And to me, I have just been following the path that God has put in front of me, type of thing. I do ask him, and I know when I go on my Tamia trips, because some of us go on our own little personal trips going, this is the way I'm going to do it because God ain't doing it the way I wanted to do it. So I'm going to go on this trip my way. Right. And for the most part, we know it doesn't go the way we want it, because he wants us to go where he needs us to go. And this is what I truly believe. Even when we get off track, you know, unless we do the ultimate thing, like, you know, unfortunately some people will do something that I speak against and train against and talk against, because they get so frustrated that they just think it's the end, and they make it the end, if you guys understand what I'm saying by that. But if we stay on that path and something trips us up, we have to realize there's a reason why that happened. There's a lesson in everything that happens to us. And in order to be successful in life, we must realize that we will fall down. We will fail. Failure is not a bad thing. Failure is your friend. You learn from failure. If you did it wrong, figure out how to do it right. Right? There's a debrief that I do, you know, coming from the military, coming from law enforcement. You always say when something happens, what worked, what didn't work, what can we do better next time? I always do that. I debrief myself on when I put together an event, or even if I'm going, you know, like yesterday, what worked, what can I do better next time? You know, can I have orchestrated and told people, hey, I'm gonna be at the place, come at 10, come at 11, come at, you know what I mean? You set it up as your office, you know what I'm saying? But it was just such a blessing, and God shows us how to run our lives in little things like that, right? Because I had actually prayed to make connections with a few of the people that we ran into there. And then they told their story as to how they hadn't originally planned on being there. They were going someplace else, and then they ended up there. So that was totally God. And I love that it happened just yesterday, that I could share that with you guys, because it will happen in your life. If you feel that tug, if you're like, you know what, we're going to run down to IHOP. Your friend says, no, can we go to the omelet house instead? Then you go to Alma's house, you end up, you know, either you connect with somebody there on your way to there, on their way from there, whatever. There's going to be a divine, something happens along the line. I call them divine appointments, because you followed that shift in your mind to change what you were doing. So for me, that is what really helps me, because I mean, I've traveled all over the world. You know, I've had layovers and stops and canceled flights and all this kind of stuff, you know, accidents around the road, those kind of things. I always have learned to pause in that moment, because in life, what happens to us is only 10%. 90% is how we respond to what has just happened to us. So getting in a car wreck, somebody cutting you off, you know, your plane getting delayed, you know, all this kind of stuff. How you turn around and respond to that is your lesson in leadership of yourself, self leadership of yourself, because the world will trigger us. Trust me. You know,
Oh
I
yeah,
come from
it's designed to do
military
that,
and law
right?
enforcement, right? Just little things can trigger you, but you don't. The enemy doesn't need to win, okay? Because his goal is to trigger you, right? And one of the biggest triggers that the Lord has, or that the enemy tries to bring into people who are focused, is distraction and offense. So what I mean by offense is, all of us have this own sense of self, and a sense of entitlement, and a sense of this and a sense of that, right, about ourselves, right? So if we go somewhere and we feel that somebody has not properly honored us or respect us or greeted us, or, you know, come on, there's tons of things that I could put in there, right? And if you start thinking about it, you're like, yeah, the other day when such and such did or didn't do this, I was mad. That's offense. And
Right.
offense is of the enemy, and it is not worth us putting more than an ounce of time into.
Let
I
me so
calculate. Go
let
ahead,
me
go
clear
ahead.
it up before you. I know you're gonna go because it's good, but I don't want you to get too far down because I'm like, okay, she got a lot of meat in there, so I want to make sure y'all caught it. It's basically that cliche saying of get out of your own way, right? So basically, what she's saying is, don't allow your ego to jump in and change the direction that your intuition, your inspired action from God has been given to you. So don't say, okay, well, go to the cracked house. Well, I don't want to go to the cracked house. This is where I was going. And then there goes that human side of you just popping in and dismissing your inspired action, which is your intuition, which is your messages. So when you neglect those the messages, and then you just go and do something different, and then later on you say, I shouldn't have did that, I knew I should have. Don't have those moments. When you have those moments, it means that your awareness of self is not there. So now you see areas of your life that you can work on to fix, to be better, right? So when you're doing that, when you have issues from people outside of you, your outside world, and going back to this other part that she had said, is those are not failure moments. Those are not, disruptive moments. Those are not, anything to just really destroy you. Those moments are moments that are divine moments as well, because it is there and designed to teach you who you are and why you're having these energies attracted to you. You have to understand, everybody in your life is in your life because you attracted them to you. So if your energy or the people around you is kind of negative, then you may want to go inside of yourself and look for your negative action, those negative things that are in alignment with the people who you are with. And those are designed to show you as like a warning signal in your car. It is designed to show you, hey, this is an area that you need to work on, because everything on this planet that you do should be directed towards self-healing, self-awareness, self-growth, and self-help. Because when you help yourself and be so into yourself and be in tune with yourself, and people say, well, you can't be selfish. You have to be selfish to learn yourself. And after you learned and discovered yourself, the selfishness will dissipate like it was never there, because now you know how to love outside of who you are versus just not understanding how to love who you are first. And because you don't love yourself on the level that you should divinely love yourself, that agape love for yourself, you cannot love anybody outside of yourself the same. So God wants us to have that love for self, because it will immediately start reflecting on your outside world. And it's just automatic. It just happens. It's law. It's the universal law. It's how the law works. So it comes out. So once it comes out, then you're spreading love to everybody around you, whether you know them or not. And then all the experiences you have, you see them as opportunities for growth, opportunities to learn more about yourself or another person. And it's also spiritual growth and healing. So those moments, use them as teaching tools, use those as leverages to gain on yourself and your spiritual side. So then you can start winning in your human life the way that you want to win. You want to win here, but you have to be connected to God and how God asked you to be. And if you don't believe in God, you got a higher power. You have anything that's above and beyond who you are. It doesn't end with you. Let's just say that. It doesn't end with you. So there's something higher and more powerful than you are. Just flow with it. Understand you. Get closer to who you are. And that will allow you to get closer to what you need to know for your life. Because everybody's life direction is different. Everybody's path and journey is different. How you get there is going to be different. And I tell people all the time, stop telling people your business. Stop trying to go outside of you to ask them for the opinions of what you should do in your life. Now, coming to like a coach like us or a consultant or anything of that nature, a mentor, you're coming to us not to tell you and give you direction. We're coming to you for insight into knowledge that you have not discovered. So you can use that knowledge and information to discover who you are. That's basically what she's giving you. She's giving you knowledge to discover who you are. So when she's out there on the streets and she's talking to people and she's helping change lives, she's out there helping them to discover who they are, and then helping them to understand you're a winner. You are here to win. You are here to just dominate whatever it is that you feel for yourself that you should dominate. Please do not take the expectations you have for yourself and then put them on other people outside of you, because that is the quickest way to disappoint yourself. That's why people get disappointed. You have expectations on somebody else who you cannot control, and then you want to control them by expectations. And then when they don't live up to those expectations, you feel hurt. You feel some type of way. Why? They're doing what they love. Go do what you love. Follow your heart. Follow your instinct. Follow your guided messages and do as you will with them, because that is where your happiness is, your peace, your joy. Whatever it is you're searching for is in your brain. So if you're going on social media and the friends and saying, this thing happened to me, what should I do? What do y'all think? all that's doing is you're inviting distractions into your household, into your mind, to confuse you on what you should do. And then you will turn around and make the wrong decision and then say, I never should have listened to them on social media. I never should have. No, we're not going to have those conversations, baby. Don't do it. Just listen to your heart. Listen to what you want. And once you really know what you want for your life, those choices become so much easier, where you don't need to go on social media or anybody and go to anybody to ask them anything about your life, because you already know. You have the answers, the key, the information is within you. God put that in you because a part of him is in you. So you have the master key right here. So if you're going anywhere else besides here to self, you're getting a duplicate key, not the master key, baby. You're getting a duplicate key to that particular situation. The master key will open up the entire world, every situation, everything about you, everything will open with that master key of understanding and getting closer, so close to self, spiritually and physically, that you understand and know exactly what you're supposed to do every single day, because it's through inspired action and guided meditations and prayer, and you understand because you feel the energy and you're going with the flow of the energy for you. That's what she said, y'all, in a nutshell.
Well, I appreciate the interpretation of what I'm saying. I feel like I'm getting some weird feedback. Are you hearing weird feedback?
Nope, I don't have any. It's clear.
Oh, it's weird. It sounded like a little like anyways. But no, I appreciate your interpretation of what I'm saying. So the thing about when I look at my life, and I love to share my life for people to see what they can do, because the thing is, you cannot walk in my shoes. You just can't. There is no one in this universe, out of all the billions of people in the universe that are alive right now or alive before, that walk the same path that I am currently walking. They just didn't. They didn't have the same friends. They didn't have the same challenges. They had some of the challenges in some way, shape, or form, but it was not exactly the Tamia Dow journey. Okay. So this is why I always love to share my journey, because when obstacles came along the way, which they have, when failure came, when disappointment came, when all those negative things came, I just accepted the challenge. I didn't see it as what do they call it? I didn't see it as a huge obstacle. It was an obstacle, but I saw it as a challenge. It's like, how do I work my way over, under, move it, around, whatever, to get this obstacle out of the way, because it's something that I want to do. And the reason I share that is because if you look at the things that I've done in my life, they've all been what have been considered male-dominated choices, right? Going to the military. It's not mandatory for women to go on the military. And I made that choice to go in. Going on the police department. When I went on the police department, there were not a lot of women that were making the police department choice. And still, as it is in most departments, it's anywhere between 10 to 20% females, because women are not making the choice to be a law enforcement person, which I really think we should. They're making the choice to be correction people, which it's necessary. If you have a population of females, you need to have people to guard them and protect them, and that kind of stuff. I'm talking about getting out on the road, making those investigations, doing those kind of things. It takes a very unique personality to do that, and I knew from childhood that I had that type of personality, because not everybody makes it through police academies. Not everybody makes it through even the field training. Not everybody makes it through a police force and retires like I did. Did I see a lot of things? Yes. Did I learn a lot of lessons? Yes. When Glenn was interviewing me, he and his camera person, Rachel, took me back. They asked me a few questions that took me back to my law enforcement career and brought back some dark remembrances. Not only just in the citizens that I was serving, but also in the fellow peer police officers that I was, working with. So don't envision that I've had this perfect life. And that's what a lot of people do, because when they see you celebrating on Facebook, they don't realize that takes work. I don't get awards for movies that aren't made. So that means I got to make a movie. You know what I mean? I got to write it. You know, I got to cast people. I got to find locations. I got to film it. I got to edit it. And then I got to release it. That's a lot of work, people. But I'll see people going, oh, here she go getting another award. Hello? I went to work. You know what I'm saying? Nobody just came knocking to my door and said, oh, let me give you an award for this. Let me give you an award for not writing that book while you've been sitting on the couch. Let me give you an award for not making that movie. You guys, like I said at the beginning, you have to be in action. You know, success rewards action. You have to go after your dreams. If I never picked up that pen to write any of those things I just described to you, we might not be having this conversation. Or maybe I would have been successful in another area, but that's not what the Lord put on my heart. He blessed me to be a creative, but he brought me from military, which doesn't stand for a lot of creativity, law enforcement, which doesn't stand for a lot of creativity, because that both of those are very, if you're familiar with the color code, it's very blue, it's very blueprint, it's very, you know, put on a certain uniform, walk to a certain beat, follow the rules, right? Which doesn't open the door for creativity. So for me to have my second career end up being in the realm of creativity with me acting and writing and directing and all this kind of stuff, I won't say it's opposite from that, because I learned a lot, you know, as a supervisor, a controller of scenes, a detective, you know, in law enforcement, as a military officer. I had that leadership role, so I had to orchestrate things there. So I took those skills, you know, the skills, as Desiree was talking about, of asking questions, figuring out the whys, you know, all that kind of stuff, into this now second career as a director and a filmmaker. And I make sure that, because I'm going back to my blueprint with this, that the I's are dotted and the T's are crosses and the S's are really clearly spelled out, because I have to now cast that vision to a whole team of people that need to understand what Director Tamia wants to happen and not be confused, like, why am I here? I don't understand what's going on. Because that's not what you do with a team. You have to invite the team to your vision, tell them what you're looking for, and then send them out to make that vision happen. And that's the joy that I get in creating films and working with the teams that I've worked with in the course of these 11 movies and moving forward. They all know, you know, they all know that, you know, this is Tamia's vision. You know, this is what she's looking for. This is the words that she expects to come out of my mouth and the things that she expects me to do, you know, and we are going to create this great story that we're going to tell to the world. And I make sure that my story always is educational, empowering, and there's a sense of justice, because those are my three core elements. Anything you read or see that I've written, or you will see empowerment, it'll be educational, and I will be talking about some form of social justice within it, because that's what I learned in these years of doing all of those things that I told you, all my male dominated, you know, military, chaplaincy, pastoring. Most of the time, those are men, right? Filmmaking, most of the time that's men. You know, Desiree and I both are doing something that people don't do as females. They don't just run out and do it. So I want to encourage you ladies that are listening to me, especially, and you men both, just go for it. Don't let somebody say, well, that's not what a man is supposed to do, or that's not what a woman is supposed to do. Do what your heart tells you. 9-year-old Tamia knew in her mind she was going to be a detective. She didn't see any limitations in it, right? And then she's gone beyond that. She became that detective, you know, and she's now a director, you know, and who knows what God has for me on the next step in the path. But you know what? I'm going to stay on the path and stay focused on what he's showing me and what he's telling me to do. Even if I don't think it's what I'm supposed to do or I should do, he knows better, right?
Right. And that path is important. I mean, even, you know, with Chaplain, Tamia, I've been in construction out here in Vegas for like almost 20 years. And that is, I mean, when I got into construction, first of all, it was no women. Second of all, there was no minority women. Like not as a project manager. You may have had them as laborers, but you did not have them as a project manager where you had to give direction to your team. And going back even to that, when she was saying you got to build a team, it is very imperative for you to build a team, whether you are, and this is my word, nobody else's, it's mine. I made it up this morning, so I'm claiming it. A homepreneur, an entrepreneur, or entrepreneur. You fall into one of those three. A homepreneur is somebody who stays at home and takes care of the home duties and everything that goes underneath the roof of your house. You have an entrepreneur, which is somebody who is on the management level of a company or organization that they're working for, and they're in there to be able to make choices and decisions on the base of the mission and vision of the company. Then you have your entrepreneur, which is the person who actually builds the mission and vision of the company and reiterates that to their team. However, whether you're an entrepreneur, or homepreneur, you still have to build a team. Now, when you're at home, if you're at home by yourself, you still have to figure out how you got your income coming in. So whatever your streams of income in or whatever attached to that is part of your team. You know, whether you have kids, your husband, those are all your teammates. You know what I'm saying? This is your team. When you go pick a mate, you are picking a team member. Yes, remember that. You're picking a team member because this team member better be right for the position you're putting that team member in, or your entrepreneurship at home will fail because you got a weak team member. And you know what they do, you know, in professional sports, you ride the bench or you're gone. You get drafted to somebody else. They push you along to somebody else. Please be like that in your life with people who come across your life. Either draft them or replace them in a draft pick. And I'm talking about drafting because I know we're in the NBA finals. So I like all sports, right? So it's coming to the final of your decision of what are you going to do? You're watching the plays on your team, whether you any one of those entrepreneurs types, you're watching your team. And now that the finals is over, you at the end of the year got to figure out, do you want to draft this person and then just keep him and re-sign a contract and let him keep going? Or do you want to throw him back in the draft pick? Because trust me, the draft pick got a lot of people out there. You know why? Because a lot of people have not discovered or found themselves. So therefore, that is a very big pool. Throw them back out there. They'll be all right. They'll sink or swim, one or the other. But you want to make sure that you are drafting the correct people for your team, regardless of where you are. And that is not only just, okay, now I have, let's just say football. I need a coach. I need an assistant coach. I need a trainer. I need, the team. I need also the owners. And I also need, the location. Those are all the things that you need. So when you're a homepreneur, entrepreneur, you still have those same things that you have to look at. That's why I group them all together. That's why I do this show the way that I do it. I don't really have a big, a niche where a type of business I'm looking for. An entrepreneur, they always say, is such a big, you got to narrow it down. Well, when you're talking about the mindset, and this has always been my problem as a coach doing mindset and personal development work, is because you can't narrow down a mindset. I'm sorry, it just don't fit in a box. Neither do I. So it's perfect for me, right? You can't put a mindset in a box because your mindset is exploring multiple situations every single day. Like, what do you want to do? I want to coach you on being a business mindset. Okay, well, what about your home mindset? And this is what I tell my clients, because your home mindset is going to invert your alignment, neither will you be. So how are you going to tell me just coach one type of thing? It's the mindset, which means it's different genres. So you're going to have multiple guests on here, from a stay-at-home, never done anything, unmarried, somebody who's just not getting out into the world, to somebody who's been here many decades and have put in a lot of work. And like she said, this is the work that you don't see. Right. It's behind the scenes. So when I look at mindset, this is what my calling, God gave me this. He gave me this in such a fine, detailed, it was granular information of this is what I need you to do. And I need you to understand the mind, where I started studying neuroscience on my own. Nobody else into metaphysics, spirituality. I started, discovering multitudes of psychology and personal development. My goodness, even in college, personal development, intercommunication skills and communication skills. I've done these for so many years. And with construction, it helped me a lot. but I don't have a love for working for anybody. I need to be that entrepreneur, and I need to be able to put myself in a position where I'm helping somebody. So I know what my calling is, and this is my calling. So everybody I have on the show, I actually just break down and reinterpret what they're saying, because it's going to reach multiple people on multiple levels, because she's going to say it one way, which will reach 50% of the people. I'm going to say it a different way, which will reach the other 50% of the people. So now we're helping 100% of the people. That is my goal. That is my vision. That is my goal. I'm not leaving nobody behind. Just like the school said, No Child Left Behind Act. If you can make a whole law saying no child left behind, why can't I make a law for coaching and say no person left behind? Because I'm talking about the mindset. You understand what I'm saying? So this is why I go and I break apart what everybody brings on here, and I go a little deeper in a different direction, just so you can be more enlightened for growth. This is all this channel is about, is growing, understanding the mindset, being able to put what she's saying as an entrepreneur and on her journey. When people say it's a tough journey, I know there's some people out there that don't understand. They can't comprehend what you mean by a tough journey, right? So those sometimes they will be a little jealous or feeling some type of way because they're not in that position, but don't understand your journey. And then you say it was a tough journey. They're looking at you like, really? Duh, I'm going through it. And it's really hard for me right now. Well, if you get out of your own way, discover who you are, write your script to be a winner in your story, and follow your plot to your story to have that climax in your story. You can have those climatic moments of celebration like she does, like I do, like so many people out there do. But if you are focused on people outside of you and having expectations of them losing or winning, that energy you're putting out there is going to come back to you. So if you're not looking at everybody around you as a winner and celebrating with them, you are going to be a loser, and you're going to be crying and being a victim for the rest of your life. Get out of the victim mindset. You are not a victim. You are divinely made here by God. There is no way you're a victim. And I say that with compassion because I truly feel that and I believe it. And I'm out to prove that point, that nobody's a victim. And all these titles that they're putting on you, well, you're manic depressive, and you have anxiety attacks. Well, anxiety can be good because if I'm extremely happy, do you know that's an anxiety attack too? Now, what I do with it is my energy, right? Because it's all about the thought process. I'm like really trying to understand this because I don't understand. It drives me crazy when people say, oh, you're suffering from the imposter syndrome. No, I am suffering from defeat of myself. And you can't call myself an imposter to myself.
I do not like that. When people say that imposter syndrome, I hate that.
I cringe. No. It's a saboteur. When we go into archetypes, it's a saboteur. It's the saboteur because you're sabotaging yourself. Make the definitions make sense, people, please.
Right, exactly.
If it doesn't make sense to you when you're getting into education and knowledge and research, you can understand when something just doesn't make sense. I am not the one to say, oh, well, in psychology, they taught us imposter syndrome. If the teacher tells me something that my spirit is against, I am not for it. I don't care what college, what school, or where I'm at, because I am divinely made. So when something don't feel good to my spirit, I am not trusting none of you humans to try to tell me that I'm not right. Forget you. You need to have that kind of standpoint in your life where you don't care where that information comes from. If you firmly believe in it, that is what it is. I don't do imposter syndrome. It doesn't resonate with me. I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me when you think about what the definition of an imposter is and what you're calling yourself, because what the voice they're talking about is coming from you. So you're calling yourself an imposter, which means you're calling yourself fake.
Right.
You're fake. But then if I call you fake, you get offended.
Right.
Make up your mind. That's that confusion right there. You can't get mad because somebody calling you out and you're okay and comfortable with yourself saying that it's the imposter syndrome. Well, if you're an imposter, then every negative thing I say to you, you should be okay with. But you're not. You have a problem with it, which also means that you're not self-aware. And I was telling a couple of people and my son, I know when people are aware because of the terminology you use, how you use it, and how you describe yourself and what you're down for, what you will follow. When you start describing that, and I know, I immediately know if you are aware or not. And I can tell you, you are not self-aware and you will get offended. that just right there shows you are not self-aware. If you get offended when somebody says something to you and you can't justify, like we're talking about imposter syndrome and saboteur, you know, that's two different things, but it means the same thing. So now follow this, because this world will give you so many lies where things don't even make sense. And if you do the research, you can see that that logically doesn't even make sense. How can I be an imposter and a saboteur? I am sabotaging myself, but an imposter means you're fake. Straight up. It's a lie. It's fake. It's the opposite of what you want. A saboteur just means it knows the direction you're going, but it's going to throw some kinks in there to throw you off balance. And the saboteur in you is these old, nasty, raggedy, subconscious, social engineered habits that you have from your environment that you need to go in and do the work to change. Once you go in there and change the habits that you've acquired from all these people who don't even know who you are, because you don't know who you are, and once you remove that, that so-called imposter syndrome will go away, but the saboteur will take a back seat because it is a spiritual energy that you can move to a different direction and have a different result. For instance, really quick, anxiety. And they have made this word like bad, like negative. I'm having an anxiety attack. Oh my God, try to relax, try to breathe. Like I'm about to die. Like I'm not gonna die because I'm having an anxiety attack. My the energy in my body is vamping up. It is increasing energy in my body. This human body don't know what to do with that spiritual energy. So you have to figure out where you want to put it. Now, if you want to be depressed because you're having a negative thought, that is where that energy is going to take you. If you're having a positive thought, then it is going to take you into a celebratory moment. So you have to decide by the thoughts that you are thinking, what you want to do with that energy. If you are feeling that anxiety attack, change what you're thinking and change it into a celebration and go dance, go party, go karaoke around your house, go yell and shout and celebrate. It's like having the Holy Ghost. Just go get it out. Go get it out. Go out there. And because that celebratory moment is connected to a thought process, which is connected to an idea, which then shows you that you believe that idea because you are now celebrating what is coming to you and what you're about to manifest. You're celebrating what is in your future. It is not your celebration for right now, what is going on at that moment. It is a celebration for the future, what is coming to you and what's about to happen. So, with that being said, I'm going to turn it back over to Miss Chaplain, Tamia Dow, for a quick exit conclusion for her. She can give you her information on how to find her if you want to reach out to her, to invite her as a guest on your podcast or your show, or even to just hit her up to come and give you some information and even coach you, to even help you through some things that you may need to go through. She is there. She is there for all of that. Go ahead and give them their information and give them that little last little piece of you.
Well, awesome. Yeah. So I just enjoy listening to you do the interpretation. I think it's really very clever how you do that.
I'm the narrator. This is where I'm gonna put that in their movie stars. I'm the narrator.
And I also look forward to working with you on our upcoming project, where we're going to be dealing with some mental health issues and increasing awareness in that way. As I have shared with the audience here, I am about creating films that educate, empower, and show social justice. So we're going to have a very interesting series that we're putting together to bless people to be able to be aware of what is going on in their head. Actually, our self-sabotage and our self-preservation techniques that we use in our lives that are actually more destructive than constructive. So I look forward to working on this project with you and our other sister director. So we're excited to do that. But for me, I would really encourage you all to go to Amazon and pick up my book. It's called In Celebration of You. It's called In Celebration of You. It's by Tamia Dow. And it is actually a workbook. And it is designed to help you remember, rediscover who you are. It is a book that takes you through your successes, because we so quickly forget our successes, and we focus on our failures and our shortcomings and all of these things that the enemy would have us focus on, those limiting beliefs that make us think that we have never done anything. This book is in celebration of you, lets you remember what you've done. It also helps you remember who you were. I always explore your childhood, because once we grow up, we get to be teenagers or so. We've been beaten so down by, teachers, society, our family. Could you imagine if I had a family that was like, put that book away. You're never going to be a detective. Who's going to ever listen to you? I was so blessed to have a family that, my father was a traveling salesperson, very articulate, graduated from Howard University. He too was a military officer. So I had my father who just like, everything I did was great. My mother who sat there and released her daughter to the military and to the police department, praying every single day. And I'm the only girl in my father's chain. And I'm the only one who chose law enforcement and military like my dad did. So it's just like making those male choices, deciding that I was going to be the doer, the person who went out and basically changed the world, impacted the world. I encourage you, when you pick up this book, to just reflect upon that little you, that my little Tamia. Is my little Tamia happy with me right now? She's super excited for me right now. Yet, I still have messages I have to share with my little Tamia, because there's things I look back on and I say, I wish I would have handled that differently. And I'll give you guys one really quick one before, as I'm leaving, is stop caring what everybody else has to say.
Yes, please. Because if you stop caring what everybody else says, it opens up so much love for yourself. I can't even explain how good it feels, because that energy that you're using when you're anywhere outside of yourself. Anywhere outside of yourself, you just lose so much of you, of who you can be. So just get so much love yourself, date yourself, take yourself out, have a great time, because then that way you'll know what you like and what you don't like. And that's what this whole world is about, finding out what you like, what you don't like, and actually understanding what makes you happy. That's all these are all experiences, only to show you what you like and what you don't like. And then take what you like and just manifest it, just have fun with it, and just do so many things with it, and enjoy it with someone. Go out there. I'm big on love. I'm gonna tell y'all, I am so in love with loving love and loving others and loving myself, that I can't even explain how good I feel. I mean, I love me so much that I could be in myself in quarantine for months by myself. Look at that. Love it. I could be in quarantine by myself and have no issues. I don't think about nothing. I don't get depressed. I'm not missing anything. I am cool, because I am studying me. I am getting into me. I am enjoying me. I am learning more and more about who I am and what I like. And if the quarantine and the pandemic has not done that for you, you have some work to do. Because if during that time you did not have no self-discoveries, you are running from yourself, and that is the worst place you can be, is running from yourself. Go and discover yourself. Like, there was this commercial, real quick. Commercial was I think a Cuban dude. He was like had a Spanish accent, and he was talking about, I discovered this car, police officer. I discovered this car. I did not steal this car. I discovered it. It was sitting here. It was running. I discovered it. It's mine. He said, man, this is not your car. This is his car. Nope. He left it. I discovered it. It's mine. Discover what's for you and claim it. Don't care, like she said, what nobody says. Don't care what nobody feels. Man, forget their feelings. I don't care if it's your kids, your husband, your wife, your mom, your dad. I don't care who it is, because those same people, just because they're your blood, does not mean that they are totally spiritually connected to you on a level of understanding what's for you, if that makes sense. Now, I'm going to run that back in a different way. they have been so socially engineered of their environments that they don't know who they are. So for them to give you advice on who you are it's that imposter saboteur, because now those are truly imposters, because there's no way that they know what you want because they don't know what they want, and now they're just they're in there just really trying to just mess up anything that's going to be for you because it's not for them. So
Right.
Follow Mrs. Chaplain Tamia Dow. Go get that book, Enlighten Yourself, Grow. I will have 2 books. One that I'm half done with. I decided to expand on it as a business journal and workbook that you can work through getting, if you're a new business owner or an existing business owner, whatever it is, you can find your place in there and you can just run from there and start planning out your year by.
Hey, can I jump in really quick? I would like just really quickly to leave people with the importance of surrounding yourself with people who lift you up, not bring you down, and people who can understand your vision, even if they're not walking your vision. And the reason I say this is if you surround yourself in the environment of people who are trying to pull you down and keep you on their level, when you know that God is calling you to a higher level, you're doing a disservice. Environment is stronger than willpower. So you really have to surround yourself with people who are heading up, who have a positive mindset, who if you stand alongside, you are going to go up and not stay still or go down. It is very important. I also want to just say thank you for having me on, Desiree. I so have enjoyed our time together. And if you could please, you folks, if you could follow me on Instagram, Tamia_Dow. Follow me also on Facebook, spell it out, the number 8, Spirit Productions, 888 Spirit Productions. And that'll tell you of the upcoming projects that I have coming on, to include a feature-length film about post-apocalyptic times when we have been forced to take the Revelation 13 mark on your arm. And I'm going to be looking for cast and crew for that. So please follow me on Facebook, connect with me if you're in the filmmaking community and you want to be a part of that. Like I said, I love my team. I love to cast my vision, and I love to tell stories. So please come join me.
And they're always extras. So if you don't know how to act, you're not comfortable in front of the camera acting, she can always use some extras, and you can just do some walk-bys, or just, they can shoot you at a distance. So please support all of her movies that's coming up, because they have some high messages. I will show you and share with you the books that I have coming out, and another one about leadership that I'm going to write. It is in my head and I need to get it out, and it will come to you as soon as I get it down. And make sure you tune in every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. right here on prconnectionsradio.com, and also on the PR Connections Facebook group page. You can also find the replays of this on _tag_ on Facebook. And also on my personal page, Desiree Passionate One Williams. We definitely look forward to seeing you back again. And definitely everybody out there, have an amazing rest of your weekend. If you want to be a cast on this or guest on this show, please reach out to me at Desiree Williams at _tag.org. Or you can hit me up and DM me on either one of those Facebook group pages, _tag_ or at Desiree Passionate One Williams. So I will see y'all next week. Have an amazing week. Have an amazing weekend. Stay hydrated, stay blessed, and stay pushing. I'll see y'all later.
God bless.